Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Connecticut. As we gear things up for more yesteryear action tonight, it's a replica of the 1990 version of the Snap-on Tools World Series. My name's Justin Prince, alongside me in the booth tonight, Brandon Laster, also being joined tonight by Alan Wanamaker for this broadcast. Also for tonight, our producer is Christian Hill. YesterYear Racing League, once again, is a unique one to the iRacing platform as it seeks to emulate historical races with the 1990 Wheel and Modified and 1990 Smart Tours. These races will be identical to the real world races that occurred, and once again, we'll bring you the World Series from 1990. Braden, we gear things up tonight for Thompson. 100 laps up on the board for this race. It should be a good one.
Yeah, Thompson's been one of the more difficult tracks for these drivers to race at. It's very much follow the leader around the bottom and middle groove. If you want to make the pass, you got to try something different. That might mean getting the front bumper out, playing bumper tag a little bit, or playing pit strategy, playing the tire strategy. We've seen that time and time again, and we've seen it work time and time again. And with only a couple races left to see the schedule, penultimate race night, and we finish it all out in Martinsville. You do not want to go in Martinsville trying to have the perfect race of your life.
It makes things all the more ever interesting when it comes to the points conversation here tonight. Martinsville is going to be a wild finale, but here's the look at the standings. Alan, I want your take on this because Brian Bianchi and Lloyd Moore, they've been in control much of the season. They're separated by less than 20 points entering Thompson.
Yeah, it's interesting. Thompson's an interesting track. As Braden said, it's mostly a high-line track. I mean, it can have some double-line racing at times. But yeah, these guys are going to be out and about, and we got a couple of EOL penalties tonight. Brian and Lloyd Moore, the two front runners, need to serve them. So that gives Ryan, it seems, an advantage. However, if you look at the past two races this year, Tom Ogle started with an EOL the first Thompson race. He won the race. Lloyd Moore started second to last in the second Thompson race. He won the race, so maybe starting at the back is a good thing. I don't know.
It'll be interesting in that regard, especially when it comes to the strategy tonight. That might factor some of the back and forth racing here at Thompson. We'll have to see. Again, that was a look at the point standings for this evening. Now, talking about the track itself, already touched upon it a little bit. But we might see some multi-groove racing. We've seen the high side come into play, Braden, over the past years. But a lot of drivers making sure they get that experience built up around that first and second line around tonight.
Yeah, tire wear is going to be the name of the game. We talk about the tire wear in this car is so unique, and the fact that sometimes it'll wear very quick and you have drivers very loosey-goosey. We saw that Hickory in race number 2 of the season, and by the end of the race, I believe that race went pretty much all green flag. Might have had one early caution, but those drivers were spitting out left and right. And the last Thompson race, you had some drivers that were putting over 100 laps on a set of tires. So one set of tires a night, if they need it, I think they're going to have to definitely try and manage it if they can.
Looking at the point standings, you still see on screen in that regard, Thomas Ogle, despite missing a race, still within 200 points. Going to be an interesting mark to quickly touch upon for tonight, but not in championship contention. Still, though, as we move things forward in the order, let's talk about Hubble for tonight. The service, once again, for the AI Top 10 predictions. Thomas Ogle predicted to be your winner, in fact, for tonight in this one, Alan. Brian Neff and Donnie Moore amongst your top 3 projected.
Yeah, I think if Tom could win again, and he has a little bit of lady luck, he could be a factor. I mean, Tom Ogle won the first Martinsville race, got second in the second Martinsville race. So, like I said, if he can have, a little bit of lady luck on his side, he can win tonight with Bianchi and Lloyd Moore starting in the back. You never know. He could be a dark horse to be racing Martinsville for the title.
Bianchi projected to be in 7th. Lloyd Moore projected in 9th for Hubble. And the projections from Hubble tonight here from Thompson. Now, before we move on to the next part of the program, it's worth noting we're still in less than 30 seconds to go in the qualifying session. And as mentioned at the top, your 2 points leaders to start at the tail, Bianchi and Moore. Also amongst those yet to set any times, Lowell Jewell. You also have William Martin and Dwayne Hopkins making a start tonight. get to take times, but Thomas Ogle, who cuts into the grass, set the top time just now, the 18.4s. We'll see if that pace is enough to keep him up at the very front of the field for this evening. Qualifying now coming to a close here for the session as Thomas Ogle has pole number 6 of the 2024 campaign/1990 season for YesterYear. It's time to take a look at how they'll roll here tonight. 16 starters in the field this evening for the race. Here's a look at how they'll line up with Ogle and Johnson. Starting on the front row, Brian Johnson putting up an 18.5. As a matter of fact, in final practice, he was amongst one of the front runners. Rex Hoyle and Brian Neff start in row number 2. Then Torrance Childs and Rory Collins are in row 3. Then row number 4 features Jeff Lemire. Alongside him, Bruce Pearson. Your top 10 completes like this. Thomas Hilbert and Jeffrey Leiden starts off in 10th, Braden.
The last driver to take a time 1,000th behind Leiden is going to be Dustin Martinson. They're running off 11th. Now we got the drivers getting your EOLs and drivers that didn't take a time. That is going to include Lloyd Moore in 12th, William R. Martin to his inside the row back 13th, Brian Bianchi to Martin's outside of 14th, and exactly, or should be exactly, a row behind Lloyd Moore. Lowell Jewell there in 15th, and Dwayne Hopkins in 17th on Lawmaker, of course, in the booth. Now, a driver I'm not seeing on the starting grid, Ryan Pittman, 3rd in points tonight, had a fighting chance not present.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising. Yeah, that's a little bit surprising. Don't know what happened there.
And that's going to mean that it's a 2-horse race, so to speak, for the tunnel fight. Cody Setup Shop Race Analysis, 100 laps. 0 fast repairs, remember, in this series. Fixed setups, no green-white checkers, meaning there is a pointed no-return caution point for tonight. Again, the pit road speed limit, 35 miles an hour for those when they take service here at the Speedway. We're just about geared up and ready to go for this one. 16 starters ready to do battle. It's the World Series. It's underway here from Thompson. And already some contact to the wall. Thomas Ogle hits the wall. Rex Hoyle looking to move up to the lead already. But that top line prevails off turn 4. Ogle, despite scraping the wall, makes contact with Hoyle as he clears himself.
Now Hoyle trying to get back in line, about to lose that second spot. Now to Brian Neff, contact. Hoyle goes spinning into the inside wall. Contact sends Hoyle there hard inside the wall, and he is going to have his night over before it's even really begun.
Yeah, mostly, you know, again, like most short tracks, you want to hug that inside line and keep that line if you can. Here at Thompson, it's really sort of the middle line that's the line. So if you're down low, you can certainly get loose, and that's exactly, looks like that's what happened.
Now Hoyle was trying to stop the bleeding there and just basically cut the wound wide open at that point.
So just like that, the field gets some separation via attrition. Of note, Lowell Jewell and Dwayne Hopkins both did not start this race. They're both not at the racetrack. So, Hoyle losing 14 seconds from the ordeal. Some of the others see on screen trying to settle things out, such as the battle between Childs and Rory Collins, who's up 2 spots so far, Braden.
I think I saw Lowell Jewell and Dwayne Hopkins at the hot dog stand. They didn't quite hear the final roll call go to get to their cars. But you see Lloyd Moore starting to work his way up through the field, but riding on board right now with Torrance Childs. They're the last driver inside the top 5. We've seen some impressive runs from Torrance Childs this season. I think come next, he's definitely going to be a championship contender for sure.
Yeah, Torrance has put in I know he's put in a lot of laps here. He put in a ton of laps in the second race, and then unfortunately got caught in some bad stuff and had a little bit of damage and had to get out. But he's put in a lot of laps, so we'll see if that pays off here.
Yeah, use amongst those try to use the bottom of the racetrack at the moment, like Neff is in front. As a matter of fact, both Collins and Johnson both got tight and hit the wall. So Childs able to move up to 3rd with that situation.
That last time out, it was a night race. A lot of drivers like to prefer the bottom. The grip wasn't up in the top. Now drivers preferring the middle to the higher groove, and you have a bit of multi-groove racing. And the problem is drivers are getting tight on exit, washing up, hitting the wall. And these cars, you mentioned, they're very fragile. They're very open wheel-esque, where the first thing that's going to hit the wall isn't going to be the body to take the beating. It's going to be the tire and the suspension. See the battle going on here. None of these drivers really care about any damage you might get here.
Looks like Ogle's put on the nitrous, just checked out. He's like completely like, just, it's like he's checking out pretty quick.
Yeah, so far up front, domination station, but Brian Bianchi needing 5 places. Pick up some solid track position. Right now, he is in 7th. Lloyd Moore is in 9th. Amongst those in your championship front runners, Bianchi trying to use the diamond line this time by, makes the move on Johnson as he got tight again.
They got a train of hungry hippos here all ready to eat, and Rory Collins is for it's the appetizer getting ready to be served. Bruce Pearson now looking inside on 22, riding on board with Bianchi. Oh, contact a little bit, sends Rory Collins up the track. Bianchi's going to follow follow Bruce Pearson through underneath Rory Collins. Brian Johnson now get underneath Collins as well. Collins is falling back here big time.
There could be some damage there. Double Deuce Bruce is going to be a little bit of a challenge to get by. He's a very line, kind of drives his lines, hits his marks, and Brian's going to could have a tough time getting around Bruce.
They're trying to run the high side meanwhile as Johnson migrates to the bottom. These Munstels trying to use the first line more than anything else, both sides of the racetrack after plowing to the wall a few times. Here comes Lloyd Moore, and Moore needs to pick up some ground and quick to gain some points back.
Yeah, with Pittman not here tonight, definitely give us some breathing room, but you got to go chase down Bianchi. Bianchi moving up through the field a lot quicker. Bianchi in the wall! Trouble for the championship points leader. Hard hit. Lloyd Moore goes on by, and Bianchi basically came to a complete stop there. Got turned by Bruce Pearson at 22.
No caution. We stay green as the 41 still runs. No meatball flags, but indeed contact with the 22 in the battle for 4th. That's why Bianchi is now running in 11th.
That's not just a battle for position, that's a battle for the championship. That, in theory, will give that advantage to Lloyd Moore when they leave here tonight, unless Bianchi's able to make up some ground.
Yeah, I'm looking at the splits here. It looks like Neff and Torrance are starting to, I don't want to say run down Ogle, but they're starting to close it a little bit. A little, 10th here or there. That should be interesting. I don't know if Ogle might be saving his stuff, though. You never know.
Last time by, Ogle actually outran those two by an extra 10th. As you see how he's played things out so far. Coming up to about a 5th of the way through the action. Putting up some dominating pace. We've seen this from Ogle all throughout the campaign when he's raced. When you give him clean air, he's tough to stop.
Yeah, reminder, drivers get an extra help. Contact Bianchi back once again. Bianchi able to keep going, but going back to Ogle up front. So far has led, the only driver to lead the lap, but has definitely led the most of them. To get those extra bonus points for leading the most laps and for leading a lap. We mentioned Ogle 3rd in points, missed the race. I mean, he was the dominant car all season long. Mentioned his 6th pole in 13 races for him. After missing 1, fell down in points, and it's mathematically not impossible for him to win. He's 115 points out, I believe, or 154 points out of lead, 115 for catching Pittman. He should definitely catch Pittman here tonight, and we're pretty close to Lloyd Moore. He's going to need a lot of help, though. Even if he goes down here, wins, leads every lap, he's going to need Lloyd Moore and Bianchi to finish about 10th on back, and then do it again next year, where they're going to finish 15 on back. And in theory, that'd give Ogle a championship, but he needs a lot of help.
Yeah, Lloyd's already up to 6th, and he's looking pretty good. He's a pretty steady driver. So we'll see what happens. I think looks like Bianchi's in 10th right now.
And so far, it's worth noting, only 2 drivers have turned 1,890 laps. That's the highest total of the season. Bianchi and Moore, your championship front runners, the ones who have turned every lap this campaign and avoided the dreaded DNF, so to speak, in most of the races. Take a look at Brian right now, up to 9th. Last time by, ran in the 18.7s, quicker than a couple drivers on pace. Rory Collins, who leads his packs in the 8s.
Yeah, as they run right now, but as they run right now, Bianchi has a 5-point advantage over Lloyd Moore going into Martinsville.
Wow, that's pretty tight. And they both run pretty well at Martinsville. Got to give a spotlight on Torrance Childs tonight. I mean, my race partner, Toy Maker Racing. I mean, he's like glue on Neff, and he's just probably biding his time and seeing trying to scope Neff's out, seeing his lines, and we'll see if he can get by him. Neff's pretty tough to get by though.
A little bit quicker on the entry, but Neff maintaining great exit speed compared to Childs on the diamond line. That's where that separation is. Right now they are back to trading lap times with the race leader on the racetrack, at least for the time being, past the quarter-way mark in this one. And it seems like just steady your way into a rhythm and go from there. Neff out of his rhythm. Had a bit of a bobble out of turn 2, held onto it.
Yeah, Neff's running a similar line. The second race at Thompson, I led about 70-some laps of this race. And thinking back, and Neff's running a very similar line to what I did. It's very hard to get by me. I mean, Jerry Isaacs probably tried to get by me for 50 laps, and he finally did. But Neff's running that line. It's just really hard to get by.
And Torrance Childs running the multiple groove line in the corners, the diamond line, enters middle lowest, washes up, and then gets a great drive off on the exit there. Gets a little bit of a tighter arch, and so far has been able to maintain that same gap to Brian Neff. All he needs is one mistake from Neff, and he can get by him. But lap traffic, I started the end of the picture. They're on the same straightaway as their lead pack now. Thomas Hilbert and Rex Hoyle are not side by side, but they're definitely racing each other a lot harder than I'm sure Tom Fogel would want them to when they catch these guys.
Absolutely, at this point, a lot of separation amongst those at the moment. And traffic management we've seen come into play a couple times this season. It's important to know where the traffic's going to be. It's important for the traffic to know where the leaders want to run without getting held up too much. Looking back at their battle pack, Bianchi has now moved his way into 7th. He's catching up to Collins.
Yeah, just looking back in history on this race, it's like we haven't had any cautions yet, but historically, this race had 7 cautions for 34 laps, so I don't even think we're going to come close to that tonight, but because we don't have any cautions yet.
Hey, you never know. I've seen some pretty impressive stuff happen
right.
before.
It's a race, mind you. Jeff Fuller picked up the win in. Mike Stefanik and Rick Fuller in that event back in 1990. As here comes the move to the inside. Roy Collins arced out. He slides the tires, holds on to it, tries to cross them over, but up a spot is Bianchi on the move.
Much needed spot indeed.
Yeah.
That gap, 5 points as they ran. Now it's a little bit bigger, and the series is usually the Bob Latford system that they used back in the day, and that's what NASCAR used for many years. So 5 points is the separation between first and second, or second and third, and as you kind of get down the running order, the gap shortens between maybe 3 points or 2 points, depending how low you go, and they have different bonuses too for 5 points for leading a lap and 5 points for leading most laps. So a lap bonus right here. If a caution does come out, might be crucial for that championship. Might see someone stay out like Lloyd Moore trying to lead the lap.
Yeah, that's true. And one interesting thing about Bianchi is he's the one guy that, because he won the Race of Champions, he can actually hypothetically win the treble, which in YesterYear terms is the Race of Champions, obviously the YesterYear Racing Series League Championship, and then the IROC Series. If he could win that next year, that's the triple in sort of our world. But he's got a little bit of work to do because Lloyd is up there right now.
Lloyd Moore has settled into 5th position in this race, just in front of Bianchi at the time we currently run through at the moment. Take a look at Lloyd currently. He's not been able to close in on Bruce Pearson here, just settled into a rhythm in this spot.
Getting a rhythm down at the track that Thompson is crucial, because the corners are very symmetrical. I know you've ran a lot of laps here. I know they're a little bit different in their own distinct ways, but you have to be almost perfect every single time you enter on the corner. They can't wash up too high or enter too low, because it would absolutely destroy your run in the next corner. It takes a lap to really get that rhythm down.
Yeah, this is definitely a rhythm track, and it takes some practice to really get it down. And you know, I've raced here. I probably haven't felt comfortable here until maybe the last couple of races I've raced here, just because it is a rhythm track, and you really have to put some laps in and put the time in here.
Bianchi now providing the pressure, though, for the time being. Bianchi Zamunzo's using the top line, trying to get some of the diamond down off corner exit. Lloyd Moore has moved down a little bit on the racetrack compared
One of the grass front leader started to interrupt JP. Brian Johnson spins out in 1 and 2 and came out right in front of Thomas Ogle in the 13 there.
Wow.
They stay green as now he's alongside Ogle again. And that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Lost him about a 10th or so. Please stay green, though.
Yeah, just had a little self-spin going in the 1, then a little too low. It's down to rear grip. Brian Neff now definitely loose on corner exit. See the replay here. He gets out of line doing the number 19 of Martinson. It just enters a little too low, a little less grip down there, and does a good job of keeping it straight for the most part.
Yeah, this track's like a temptress. I mean, it wants to tempt you to try to take that low line at times to try to gain some speed, get some arc. But the minute you do that, man, it's really slick. It's like I said, it's really a mid groove, midline track, and to get down low like that, you really need to. You're kind of rolling the dice.
Bianchi is now over the back end of Lloyd Moore, your championship front runners, running 5th and 6th. Lap traffic moves in the pit lane, and Thomas Hilbert. But Bianchi is providing a lot of pressure, trying to find a way to get alongside, though compromising his lines here.
Without compromising our lines, it's the biggest part of that sentence right there. You got to be comfortable. You got to be patient. Mentioning this track, it's hard to pass if you know, it's single groove racing. Right now, it's not. Lloyd Moore makes a little bit of a mistake, and they have both caught Bruce Pearson there for 4th. So you got to be patient here. You got to be comfortable. I think that's exactly the game Brian Bianchi's playing.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder if just Brian's gonna. I mean, you never know, but he kind of play conservative here and just kind of stay and mirror Lloyd and just kind of punt, and then you duke it out at Martinsville. But Brian can be pretty aggressive, so if he's faster, he's probably going to get by.
For a place to poke around for the time being. So now they've also ruled in Pearson. Pearson started to fall off a little bit more compared to them, to the 19 flats as this run's progressed. Cross flags at the stripe next time by. Big bobble for Bianchi. Big door open. Pearson lets them both go.
Don't look at the gap now. She's about on the screen, but Brian Neff gets loose off of turn 2. Right, we're going to talk about him. Gets passed by Torrance Childs. Neff was within a second of your leader, Thomas Ogle, last time by. Huge bobble, huge mistake for him. Allows Torrance Childs to go by for second. And Thomas Ogle has caught some heavy lap traffic low of, I believe that's Rex Hoyle and Dustin Martinson.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Torrance was saving his stuff. He's kind of like riding behind Neff, and Neff might have a tough time getting back by Torrance because, again, I think he probably was saving his stuff, but who knows?
Here's a look. Big bobble. Able to keep it from the grass at least, though.
I've seen him bobble big time on corner exit. Probably one of the biggest struggles, the biggest driver struggling on corner exit of everyone on track right now. And he doesn't have the rear grip that he needs to get by for second. But it's definitely heating up in front of them as you see Thomas Ogle trying to get around lap traffic in front of these two. And they got one slow on the backstretch. Rex Hoyle, I believe, is coming to pit lane.
Wow.
It's not been a pretty race for the 50. He's just peeled in. Slowed down significantly down the back straightaway after getting lapped by Thomas Ogle.
He must have had a... Well, no, I was going to say he must have had a drive-through, but no, that's not what he had.
He does have a black flag. I don't know if it was for speeding, but he did have a black flag. I'm not sure what the black flag is.
Oh, wow.
Or I don't see any jacks going under the car. So no tire changes yet, serving the penalty, I can presume.
Can't imagine what that was for, actually.
A 13 incident point limit for these drivers. I don't think Rex was there. He's not had that eventful of a night, but maybe
No.
we missed it.
Yeah, I mean, the 13 incident points should be a drive-through, but he wasn't driving through. He was stopping, so I don't know.
That black flag is now gone, so must have been a speeding penalty. 35-mile-an-hour speeding penalty here at Thompson. Very low and slow, so I'm going to go back here. And oh, yeah, he entered pit speeds pit lane about 10 miles an hour too fast. I'm going to say got speed there.
Yeah. And he's out of the car, so likely a DNF now for Hoyle in this race. Still keeping an eye as this is going on the battle for second. These two have started to lose ground on Ogle again, but Neff trying to find a way to get his spot back, to get back to P2.
And through all of that, Brian Bianchi got around not only Lloyd Moore, but Bruce Pearson to steal fourth. Lloyd Moore still behind Pearson. Saw him 2-3 wide there before it got a little too exciting for us. And Lloyd Moore definitely losing some spots and losing the championship.
And Neff's looking pretty good. He's running a pretty good line. He's all over Childs. I don't know. That could be interesting. Neff definitely wants his spot back. Give a shout out too to Neff's sponsor, Winn-Dixie. Oh, he got loose a little bit. Oh, looks like he got a little close to Torrance and then got kind of loose and had to back off. But anyway, give a shout out to Winn-Dixie, good Southern grocery store down here in the Carolinas in the South. I think Brian Neff worked for them I believe he was a butcher for them for many years, so hence the sponsorship.
So he keeps it on riding here, had one checkup at least. These drivers starting to really burn around the rear tires here, it looks like. With under 40 laps to work with on the racetrack. Again, Ogle still in the race lead, now pulling away for more than 2 seconds from these drivers on screen. It is getting tricky out here. Neff, another checkup, had to slam off the gas and hit the brakes a bit. Squiggled the tires to avoid Childs again.
Yeah, I think Neff is definitely struggling with rear grip. These cars make quite a bit of horsepower, 612 to be exact, and a 15-inch wide tire. About makes contact with Childs, but Neff is using all 612 horsepower and all 15 inches of those rear tires, and I think he's definitely just losing the car, though too early on throttle, trying to get to Torrance Childs, and he's got there, but in the big scheme of things, this battle has allowed Thomas Ogle to pull away to the biggest lead he's had all race.
No, for those wondering why there's a smoke puff there. Jeffrey Lining got loose and nearly spun it around, kept it straight though, enough to be able to keep going. Neff, another checkup, had to lift again to avoid the Nerf bar, the 5.
Well, we're in the final couple of stages. I mean, less than 40 laps to go. If you're going to get the Nerf bars dirty, you might as well do it now.
Yeah, this thing is winding down quick. Kind of reminds me of a OBRL race. Some of those races in that league are they'll go green the whole race, and so far we've done that. Although I'm not sure this will end the way this is looking. It could be it's a little iffy here.
So of note, Thomas Hilbert has parked it for the night. He's joining Rex Hoyle, Lowell Jewell, and Dwayne Hopkins at the hot dog stand. It's buy one get one tonight.
So more DNFs build up, more contact.
Oh.
And Childs keeps on trying to let the car rotate by lifting a lot out of the gas. Neff keeps on trying not to wreck into him, and it's nearly wrecking himself in the process at this point.
Yeah, Neff is trying to take either him, Torrance Childs, or both of them to the hot dog stands by the looks of it, and I'm not really sure who's holding up who. Neff has the speed to get around Childs, not able to get the line down. Although look at the split difference. They have gained a little bit of time these last couple laps on Thomas Ogle. Only about half a second, not much, but 30 laps to go. Next time by, if they can maintain this momentum, they might just be able to get there.
Yeah, I think Neff and I think Torrance and Neff are running a little bit of a different strategy. It looks like Neff's running deeper in the corner, so he has to check up, especially coming out of the corner too. And Torrance is a little bit more, a little smoother, running a different So if Neff can adjust to that, he could probably get around him. But here it is. Just as I say that, it's like no, you just can't quite get there. Torrance is pretty smooth coming off the corner.
Finally able to get the rear grip that he's been looking for the last 72 laps. Not able to get an opening and make a move. Looking at the time to Thomas Ogle, still about the same gap last time by as they crossed the line. Thomas Ogle a little bit quicker than Brian Neff, but Torrance Childs is the quickest of the three.
I think Tom might be saving his stuff. I mean, I don't know, unless he might have clipped the wall or something, got a little damage, but he's probably just not going to overdrive and just kind of save his stuff and cruise to the victory, but I don't know.
It was a 2-second buffer. Doesn't really need a push, to say the very least. He can afford, with this deficit, for these drivers to even lose a bit of time. By a half a tenth to a tenth, these drivers wouldn't be able to get there at the rate they're going right now. Still 2 seconds of getting interval. Of note, Bianchi has closed up the gap to this group from originally 7 seconds back to now under 4.5. So the more these two hold each other up, the more it opens up the door for the 41 to try and zip by for a podium. As here comes Neff, Childs lets him go.
Yeah, finally, Brian Neff able to get around Childs for second. That battle's been going on for the last 30, 40 laps, and Childs is going to let him go. See if he can go chase down Thomas Ogle. I think that's Childs' way of thinking. That's the best shot of him winning this race, is him catching Ogle and those two getting in an instant. But Bianchi has been the quickest car on the track the last about 20, 30 laps. If not the quickest, one of the quickest.
Yeah, he's going to close up on Childs pretty quick, I think. And then that could be, although we've only got 23 laps here, but I think Brian's probably he's probably looking at a podium. He wants to get on the podium here.
Wants to solidify things absolutely at this rate. One of the best races for Neff this season in this series that we've seen come into play tonight for the 60 car. So, right now, Ted still on the lead lap. Leiden has maintained the lead lap for those curious since his slide. Thomas Ogle has not been urgently needing to lap drivers either. Also of note, Lloyd Moore has maintained 6th position, has not been able to get back in front of Pearson in the past while either, in terms of some of the front runners. So we keep an eye on Neff still on screen.
Brian Bianchi has caught Torrance Childs for third. Going back to Brian Neff real quick, though. Only his 4th race. Joined us in the Racing Champions at Pocono. Brian Bianchi, though, makes a move on Childs for third. Gets around him with the ease, so Brian Bianchi up to third. But Brian Neff doesn't have a single top 10 finish this season in his 4 starts, tonight being his 4th start. So on track for a career day, Brian Neff.
Yeah, he had a little bit of problems. His first race at the Race of Champions, he had some equipment issues and made a beeline for the wall. I remember that. And so he's had a couple of unfortunate incidents, but Neff's pretty quick. He's definitely a quick and probably one to watch for next year for sure.
So 18 more circuits around the racetrack, and what's been a green all the way through one so far. And it's been an interestingly green one. We've had a couple people get loose, but everyone's kept each other's space here, kept it green. No major troubles around the racetrack all throughout this one.
And no major incidents. I mean, we've had a couple bobbles, a couple drivers hit the wall here and there. But other than that, it has been clean and green the entire race for the most part. Lloyd Moore, by the way, has been caught by Roy Collins. So Lloyd Moore does not want to see Bianchi go forward, but he doesn't want to fall back either.
Yeah, that's true. Also, give a shout out to Jeff Lemire, his first inaugural YesterYear race tonight, running mid-pack. Works in real life at the Modified Racing Series up here in New England. So kind of good for the number 15.
A lot of drivers having career days.
Not bad at all as we take a look at Roy Collins. He's now in the pack that's formed up behind some of the lap traffic. Brooks Pearson's been reeled in a little bit again by Moore. Out of the 15 in this grouping as well for the time being. And they're all trying different lines right now.
Yeah, I really like that high line, the one that Neff is running to. I mean, it's and Neff, it looks like he's closed up a little bit on Thomas Ogle, but I think Ogle's probably playing conservative. But that line that Neff is running is definitely, you can tell he's had some experience here at this track. That is definitely the one of the probably the best line to run here for that high mid kind of line.
We're talking about Brian Neff here. How about we talk about the car behind him that's closed up quick within half a second? Brian Bianchi is running the tire track to Brian Neff. Here's that white car right behind him. You see him there.
Yeah, this could be interesting. I mean, if I was Brian, I'm kind of conservative. I'd probably just hang out. But, you know, like I said, Brian can be kind of aggressive. If he feels like he can get by him, he's going to get by him.
Trying to put that nail in the championship coffin right here and right now. Going into Martinsville with a 30-plus point lead would definitely be a good feeling for Bianchi.
Yeah, no doubt.
So 11 more, make it 10 more circuits to go for these drivers. Bianchi's the quickest driver on the track. He's a 10th quicker than the leader as well. But right now with the interval, this would be the highest he can get, his second spot here. Johnson is also relatively staying in this pack as one of just 2 a lap down still in this race.
Remember, had that bobble. He's really not had a great night. Qualified on the front row, Brian Johnson in the orange 27. And I had a bobble, went through the grass, I think he tapped the wall a couple times. And he has the speed to see him hanging on the Bianchi's back bumper, one of the quickest cars on the track. Just doesn't have the track position to go with.
I'll tell you, 3 and 4, Brian's looking really low, and he's playing Russian roulette there, man. Again, you get too low here, you can get in issues. So we'll see what happens here, because Neff is sort of running the preferred line.
Still 7 more circuits to try and get this planned out properly. One in the grass, line has lost it again. The 39 able to avoid the lights in the infield, but we stay green.
Yeah, that infield grass is definitely eating up a ton of these cars tonight. Bad news for everyone except Thomas Ogle is he has a clear track in front of him, and I think he knows that because he has dropped off 2 or 3 tenths a lap here, but I think he's just Sunday cruising the checkered flag at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's just cruising around.
1.2 seconds, the interval right now at the moment. But with 5 laps to go, and take a lot to close up the gap, point of no return a couple laps from now. As Bianchi tries to find a way to get to Neff. Neff uses the top line and grows the gap again. Bianchi switches to the top line himself.
There's another battle brewing back here for 5th. Lloyd Moore has caught Bruce Pearson. He needs these 3 points. And that's a crucial 3 points for that championship. So Bianchi's going to build a huge bubble. If we can get around Brian Neff, still going to build a huge gap for 2nd. But Lloyd Moore there in the 26, Bianchi in the 41. Each got their own battles for the championship going on right here. Big bubble by Brian Neff.
Here comes the run for 2nd.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Bianchi's alongside. Now uses the flat. Neff able to get the power back down and clear by again for 2nd.
Neff able to hang on, but is it enough? 2 laps to go, getting ready to cross the line.
Contact! Neff pushed up out of the groove. A hit from behind by Bianchi as Neff gets moved out of the way, and that moves the 41 up to 2nd. White flag is out. Final time around here from Thompson.
Bianchi's going to steal that battle for 2nd. Saw the bump and run there going in turn 2. The battle for 5th low. Behind these guys, Lloyd Moore about 4 car lengths behind Bruce Pearson. Not going to be able to get there on the last lap. It looks to be all Thomas Ogle. Starts in the front row and leads every lap. He's going to find the checkered flag.
Checker flag, Ogle takes it. Picks up the win of the World Series over Brian Bianchi and Brian Neff, your top 3. The 41 went from 14th to 2nd. And a green flag all throughout race.
Gap at the line. Just 1 second even between Thomas Ogle and Brian Bianchi for 1st and 2nd. Makes you wonder if he didn't start all the way back in 14th, Bianchi that is. I think it would have definitely been a championship contender. Although I think we got to check Thomas Ogle for traction control. He's struggling with his burnout a little bit.
Yeah.
This
He's
is
going to smoke it up.
This is season-leading win number 5 for Thomas Ogle. Again, the celebration quick. We'll take a quick break ourselves. You're watching McConey Entertainment for coverage of YesterYear.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, McConey.
With the launch of McConey Entertainment and McConey Competizone alongside McConey's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at McConeySetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to coverage of YesterYear here from Thompson as the YesterYear World Series goes the way of Thomas Ogle tonight. Ogle able to pick up the win by more than a second, 1.064 seconds to be precise. Brian Neff in third over Childs and Pearson. Lloyd Moore ended up finishing in 6th. Then it was Collins, then William Martin in 9th. And Brian Johnson finished 1 lap down in 10th. The rest of your starters tonight looked like this: Leiden, Martinson, Hoyle, and Thomas Hilbert. The rest of your drivers did not take the green flag here tonight at Thompson. Look top to bottom of the running order here for YesterYear action as the drivers still converse after what was a green flagged checker night. Tom Ogle first stand on by here coming up as we get ready to bring them on into the broadcast booth here. Again, your top 3, Ogle, Bianchi, and Neff standing by. So, let's bring in Thomas Ogle. He comes away with a race win here tonight. Thomas, a dominating run here. Your 5th of the season. How are you feeling after putting on a green flag to checkered appearance?
Good. I kind of fought pretty hard for the lead there at the beginning, and I got a little bit loose on that first lap on cold tires, so I kind of fought probably a little harder, and I would have maybe in a different kind of car where it's easier to pass or like a bigger track, but I kind of wanted to hold the lead. And then once you're out front, you can kind of make sure you drive off the corner straight and dirt, save your back tires.
Absolutely, in this type of race tonight. Also, it's been an interesting season. We've seen you put up some dominating pace again, but the missed race not in the contention per se for the championship, but still mathematically there. How do you feel you've built upon things, knowing how strong the season's been with you going to victory lane the 5 times?
It's just not the missed race. I made some dumb mistakes on pit road. I sped a couple times, took myself out of some races, got involved in some stuff I probably could have been less aggressive. So really, like, I've made some dumb mistakes that probably would have cost me anyhow, like just not being patient when I should have been, or taking a finish and just moving on, fighting for a spot that isn't there. So next thing you know, you're wrecked and torn up and finishing back in the pack.
So Martinsville closes up the season. Your thoughts on going to the Paperclip again?
I like it there a ton. That's a fun track. You can be patient there. This car really races well there. There's 2 grooves in this car because of the traction in the corners, and you really just got to roll the middle, and you can have a good run there. We usually get a bunch of cars. It's way more fun the more cars you have.
Anyone want to give a shout out here to tonight?
I really want to thank Alan for all the time that he spends putting this league together and doing all the legwork for it. It's just a ton of his personal time that he puts in here, and I really appreciate the time.
Congratulations on the run here tonight.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thomas Ogle coming away with the win. Brian Bianchi coming away second with Braden.
Mr. Bianchi, you put on a heck of a show, moving up from 14th from the starting grid up to second. Came up to the second, though short from winning the race from Thomas Ogle. What more did you need tonight?
I needed a little less contact there. I think that the 22 and I got tangled up a little bit there going into 1 early on, but I was able to recover and just slowly pick them off.
Well, you mentioned, moving up through the field there, a little bit of contact, able to keep the championship hopes alive. They weren't looking great there for a little bit, but that second place finish here tonight puts you in great position. All you have to do next week is finish 6th or better, no matter what Lloyd Moore does, and you are the season champion.
Oh boy. We've been running all season long, running for points and just trying to be clean and fast. So hopefully we can finish it next week.
And then next week, Martinsville, the Paperclip, you have a previous finish there of 3rd and 9th. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'll get the work in this week to dial the car in and make sure we're good to go. I believe this is a long race, couple hundred laps, so we'll have to put some strategy in, and hopefully we can finish 6th or better.
You have 200 laps for the Southern 200 next week out. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got a lot of people. First, thanks Rex Hoyle for all the work he does. Get me ready for all this stuff, all the paints and everything. And then we got Culpepper's Bakery and Cafe, Colony Tire, Christina's Custom Cuts, and Zeno's Luxury Jackets. Without all of them, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to hop in here and talk to us and put on a great show for all the fans at home. And hopefully we talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thank you.
Ron Bianchi coming away second spot tonight. Rounding out your top 3 finishers here tonight. Standing on by in the broadcast booth for this one. Let's bring on in Brian Neff. He's with Alan Wanamaker.
Brian, how you doing, man? How you feeling out there tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Wish I had a little more tires there at the end, but feel pretty good.
Yeah, it looked like you were taking that high line, that sort of mid-high line, which is a great line, the way I like to race around here. I know you and Torrance kind of battled it out for a while. Did you feel like that took a little toll on your tires at that point, or were you okay after that?
No, it was good. It's just trying to chase him down. We got behind, and I had to run a lot harder than he had just to try and reel him in. And I'd pull him in a little bit, and then I'd get a little loose, and then I'd lay back for a couple laps and try and make a run again. And just right there at the end, I ran out of tires. And I kind of checked up a little bit, and Brian got into the side of me a little bit. But man, what a good race! It was a good race. Nice clean race for Thompson. Thompson's can be a crazy race.
Yeah, it was I think it's our first, start to finish green the whole year. Although we don't have too many cautions and too many races. But this is like your 3rd or 4th race. I know the first race at Pocono you had a little equipment issue, but you've done pretty well. And up in the booth, we're chatting about, you could be a threat next year for the title if you run the series. So we'll see what happens.
I've been around a while. I just for the last year and a half, I've kind of been out, but I'm just starting to get back into the groove of things a little bit. My wheel problems, my Fanatec wheel was having problems, so I'm on my other Fanatec wheel right now, which is reliable. So,
well, it was a good run. Who do you want to give us? You want to give a shout out to anybody for the race tonight?
Just Win Dixie and my buddies. I got some buddies I run with, Can-Am Racing. So just those guys. And hey, I appreciate the broadcast. You guys do a great job all the time. So.
All right, man. Well, good run tonight, and good luck.
All righty. Thanks a lot.
Once again, that's Brian Neff running our post-race interviews here tonight. Your thoughts, first of all, tonight on this race, Alan, as in the end, we go green flag to checkered, and what was a Thomas Ogle masterclass.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to give going into the last race of the season next week. You got to give the advantage to Brian Bianchi. I mean, it looks like sixth or better. He runs pretty well at that track. So it is there's generally a large turnout there. We had 29 in the first race, and I think probably 24, 25 in the second race. So there could be some strategy implications. But Boyd Moore is going to have his work cut out for him, and I believe after Brian's second place finish tonight, Tom might be out of it pretty much, unless disaster strikes Boyd and Brian.
And Braden, the next race, too, is going to be a long one, but an interesting one. 200 laps at Martinsville to determine the champion. 8:30 p.m. on October the 29th. Your thoughts on the finale?
Yeah, we started the season off with a bang, a 200-lap race at Martinsville. Thomas Ogle found victory lane and run in the season with another bang. And looking at statistically speaking, Lloyd Moore, I'd say, would be one of the more favorited drivers over Bianchi. He has a better average finish, but both drivers only have a best finish of third. So I think we're going to have a pretty decent turnout next time out, and I think it's going to be a race of survival, and I think the championship will come down to the wire. If we get 40 cars, though, if we get more than 40 cars, technically Thomas Ogle does have a chance. It's not a good chance, but he'll have a chance.
Once again, that's next week, 8:30 p.m. start time here on Macconi Entertainment. On that note, it's time to say goodbye, though. Thank you to the YesterYear Racing administration team once more, led by Alan Wanamaker, for the work in bringing this league to life. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Brian Laster and Alan Wanamaker, with Christian Hale producing. Thanks to all our viewers for watching tonight's action. Hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Macconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Macconi.
With the launch of Macconi Entertainment and Macconi Competizone alongside Macconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at McConeySetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Macconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.